Try to frustrate me. I'm holding on to its promises. But this was meant to be. He loved me in my wrong, in sin and misery. I could have been cut off, but you still held me. It's in my hand. It's in my hand. Promises, promises. It's in my hand. This was meant. He left his home in glory. Went straight to Calvary. He was an ultimate payoff for me to be set free. He triumphed openly, removed sin, guilt, and shame. Praise the Lord, hallelujah. Bless his wonderful name. It's in my hands. It's in my hand. Promises, promises. It's in my hand. This was meant, no matter what it looks like. The devil tried to frustrate me. I'm holding on to his promises. But this was meant to be. He loved me in my wrong, in sin and misery. I could have been cut off, but you still held me. It's in my hands. It's in my hands. Promises, promises. It's in my hands. Well. Welcome back to Raw, Restoring Awesome Warriors. I'm Jackie H. And here I have beside me, once again, is my co-host, Gail Barron, the judge. And that song said, no matter what it looks like, no matter what it looks like, no matter what it looks like, we still have promises. Glad to be back with you today. We're gonna feed off the song, and today we're just gonna have an open conversation about family and religion. Yeah. So what promises? What you know about promises? What as it relates to? No, I didn't promise you anything. But let's talk about our family life just a little bit. Um, Coming up, we was told about our father was given a promise. Uh, I don't know if it was through, did a prophet tell him that, or how did he get the word that he would be blessed? Like, we read Abraham, like the story of Abraham and things like that. But how was Daddy given?
I never really heard the story,
Mm-hmm.
but in Army, whoever said it, Mommy held on to it.
Okay.
And it's that she passed down and talked to us about the promises of God
Mm-hmm.
for Daddy.
Okay. And is that what you still hold on to today?
I still hold on to it.
Okay. So let's try to talk about family versus or religion. You know, sometimes a promise can be given. I can imagine in Abraham day, just talking to people who have things they believe in or they was told something. Do it mean that you're going to see it right away?
You said, do it mean that?
Yeah, some people when you get a prophecy or you get a promise, sometimes you look for it right then and you can get discouraged or you can get.
No, it doesn't. All the time, it doesn't happen right away. It can be years later. And sometimes when a promise is given, you may not even be alive to see it, but your seed will, or somebody in your lineage. Don't mean you will see it with your natural eyes.
So I'll let you start. What do we want to discuss to let people know about family and religion? Because I
You
have.
want me to talk about religion? Because I hate that word.
I know, I know. So what do you hate about it? What is the difference?
Because religion is different than relationship.
Okay.
Religion, anybody can have a religion that they dutifully do. This is the way we brush our teeth. You know that song,
Hmm.
uh, as kids, they taught us in Head Start. But it's rote exercise. It's something that you just do without any thought. You can do it with your eyes closed. Religion don't have any meaning. A
So
dog can have a religion.
so this is something that I didn't know coming up because I didn't want God or whatever we want to call it because I saw things that wasn't equaling up to what I thought was what I was taught. So I didn't know that there was a difference. I
Yeah,
didn't. I thought I had a relationship with God. I thought people that I was raised up under had a relationship with God. So I didn't know the difference until I got older.
and religion is man made, has nothing to do with God.
So can you give me an example of something that's man that's is a, what would you call religion? Like what is a man-made thing? Is that you talking about house rules? Like what's man-made? What do that mean?
It can be house rules or it can be man's interpretation, misunderstanding of things. Like used in the military, it was structure.
Hmm.
Down south, it was structure.
Hmm.
It was customs. It was traditions
Hmm.
that they held to, but it messed up families. Religion only does that. Relationship doesn't.
So let me see if I can get this straight of what I would interpret as religion. Um, is it standards that you have? You say customs, you say tradition. So the tradition back there, what mom and them used to tell us is like, um, well, I take you for instance, when you had a child out of wedlock. Well, their custom or tradition, whatever one it is, to not look bad, you get married. Is that something that is a tradition from?
Yeah, a southern tradition because of the embarrassment and the shame that the act put on the family.
Okay.
So that was the religion part. That's why I say that's man made.
Okay.
Relationship, because you getting married, it don't change nothing if
Both of your
uh,
sinners. No, I'm just
not
using.
no not only that if you
Yeah.
sinner, but if you don't understand the institution of marriage.
But I'm saying they told us they didn't tell us that it was a tradition. We was told that this would get us back in right standing with God. So I'm trying to see how
That's
did that get you in right standing, and I
that's
was doing everything else
that's what they told us, but it wasn't until years
that
later
we found it was a
that we
tradition.
found out
Okay.
that it was a tradition
From
of down
embarrassment.
south, but you mess people's lives up
Yeah.
because marriage, according to the word of God, he said, what I put together, let no man put asunder. You don't even have what it takes to stay in a marriage, especially if you didn't marry for the right reason and don't know anything about marriage.
How old were you?
I don't remember it, but I know as I was just coming out of high school.
Well, you did make it out of high school.
I did make it out of high school, but I didn't make it to anything else. And now I'm married.
Okay. So then the family is messed up because of a tradition.
A tradition.
So how did that play a part in your life? I know, well, it's different. People have different religions. What was, like, some people don't wasn't extreme as our household was. You know what I'm saying? Like, was it religion?
Tradition. Because nowadays, and even a little while after I went through, it was everybody doing it. Everybody, we wasn't allowed to, religion wise, to celebrate anything. And so if I had a baby shower, you couldn't celebrate. If I married because you told me to, you couldn't celebrate. You couldn't even come. That's religion. Because whatever you do to yourself, like fornication is against your own body, and you're going to reap the repercussions of it. Sin is going to give you, it's going to pay you. You don't need nobody putting their foot or making it harder than it needs to be. Life is already there. But because of religion, tradition, that's why all this other stuff came about.
So okay. So I'm still trying to process because we have a lot of friends and family and people who going through the same thing, who have went through the same thing that has messed up their family life. So even you bringing a child into the world in this condition, so now that can be passed down of how you carry
That's correct.
your baby
That's
or
correct.
what you thought of.
That's correct. Now, in what we came up under, and I don't want to put it on basically the church, or was it some people within the church, because uh and I was still going to church, but you couldn't hold my child. It was off limits. You know what they told me?
What?
Because my child was sin. And that,
What?
yeah. And
So now the baby was sent.
the baby was sin. So how do you think that made me feel? Because if I'm not supposed to gloat or praise sin, and you telling me my child is, what do you think I viewed my child as?
So you believe that?
Yes, I believed it.
Wow.
Because
Okay.
I didn't know nothing else. I believe what you said. So these are the mental things you go. People say sticks and stones may break my bone, but words may never harm. That's a lie. Because words are what form thoughts. And so you telling me that my child is sin. That's not God.
So how could people? How do one know? Because you don't you probably know because you've been through it. But some people take this, they don't know the difference from what is God, what is religion, what is tradition, what is it. How would one know? Like, I don't know if I'm saying it how I feel.
I don't
Like,
know how one know, because that was under what we came up under. It wasn't until God manifests himself to me personally.
so that's why you're an advocate?
That's why I'm an advocate. I'm, no.
So it have to be once you went through something. Uh, I remember my our older brother who went through drug rehab, and his counselor was a recovered. He recovered from that. What better person to go back and reach back because you said in it, you went it, you've been through that. So sometimes, even in family life that was messed up, if someone don't return, or if you don't find out some kind of way, you'll keep teaching that pattern
Yeah.
because you could that's what
And
you
I
believe.
refuse to. I refuse to repeat.
So do one know? Do we really understand when we are putting punishment on people?
I don't think
how,
so.
like when I committed fornication or whatever I do, that was to God.
Yeah.
That was against He the one who,
Right.
if we going by the
Right.
word. So why did you punish me? But I'm trying to understand.
I don't know why you punish me.
So you
But
telling me it's because of embarrassment?
right, so you get double bubble. God's going to, whatever I do, no sin shall go unpunished.
Right.
We know that. But you're not the lawgiver, and you're not the one that should be issuing out. You never told me about God's love. Everything was always
Hellbound.
hellbound sin.
Yeah.
You didn't never tell me that if you do sin, you have an advocate. I had an advocate, but you never told me about my advocate. I had to find out for myself and on my own terms. So that's why I'm an advocate for others.
And I think truly that one can carry this if God or somebody don't enlighten you to this. This is what I saw coming up. I'm just using, everybody had their own story. But what I saw when you say religion, it cost us,
Yes,
our family.
yes,
It caused
yes,
separation.
yes,
It was, instead of showing love,
yes,
it was almost like we're better.
yes,
Like our religion is better because, and I get it, you did wrong, but that should be a time that you embrace
right,
and strengthen somebody and say, okay, there's a better way. But the way we went about it, it made you go further,
right,
and you felt condemned all
right,
the time.
right,
One
right.
time I thought that I was the queen of hell because everything you did, you was just sentenced to hell. And I said, well, okay, I don't have enough power or strength to do any better. I'm trying. And that's when I learned later on that if you don't even have His Spirit, you can't even do
You
it.
can't even do it.
You want to do good.
Yeah,
You don't want to, like, I really love the Lord, but I was
right.
just not strong.
But even after you have his spirit, you're going to have some struggles.
Right, right, right.
Paul said, when I would do good, evil is always present.
Right.
So we can't do nothing of ourselves. We need the help of the Holy Spirit. And so in my later years, I begin to find out, well, God manifests to me, because not only did I have the child out of wedlock, I was, back in them days, you were bound to the back bench. Remember the morning bench? So I could no longer participate in church. And I love church. I still do.
So what was the meaning behind that?
I guess all
Because
doing
you did wrong.
because I did
So
wrong.
sit down. And,
So yes,
so how did you get it corrected by marrying?
yes,
Then you was off the morning bench.
yes.
Okay, all right. So
It took me some time to get reinstated, but I had to sit down until my probationary period.
okay. So let me say this. Okay, so was it only in the person that got pregnant, or was it about sin? Like, okay, say like, okay, you had a baby out of wedlock, and I just loved the, I don't know, curse, whatever. It wasn't me that got to the back bench. It was you. It was just the person that, because it was embarrassment,
I
or
think
it was
because of
soft.
the pregnancy. Back then they big sin and little sin. And you know that
So it wasn't about sin at all. Then it was just about being embarrassed. It was
I
because
said the big
because the guy didn't get sentenced to the back bench.
he wasn't in the church.
No, I'm talking about even if they was in the church, it used to be the woman sitting back there, right?
Yeah,
Did the
but
guy get sent back into the back
I
bench?
don't know because he wasn't in the church.
You're talking about your situation. I'm just asking you.
Yeah, I'm saying I don't
The
know.
tradition was they always hid the woman, even down south. It was more about putting the woman away. What did the guy get?
I don't know. You asked it's even in the Bible days when they brought that lady out there because they call her an adultery. But she wasn't in it by herself. So when he knelt down, and started writing what he said, you that are without sin. But we never talk about that. You cast the first stone. It don't have to be what I did. You who is without sin. But that wasn't a practice back then. So when he got up off the ground, he asked her where was her accusers. She said, I have none. They're gone away. Because he met them with the truth.
There's like a double standard.
Double standard. Double standard. She got caught in the very act, but she didn't get caught by herself. But like you said, it seems like the woman always get put away,
in that, yeah.
or because even Mary and Joseph, he was going to put her away. He was going to take her to Egypt, unless the angel hadn't intervened.
So
Go
what-
ahead and take her, because she's that which is in her is of the Holy Ghost. But sometimes when we don't understand anything, we just rush to judgment and do all kinds of things. But that messes people up. If you never come back and give understanding, it was no.
So we're talking about our household.
Yeah.
Because everybody's household is probably different. So I'm still trying to process religion. We have family, we have religion. So there were certain things we was allowed and couldn't do, right? So I'm gonna use one that probably everybody could relate to. Like, we wasn't allowed to wear pants and things coming up. Religion, right? To the point that if I came to visit mom and dad, some people would even let you in the house,
Right?
right? I'm trying to figure out, even if you're still loving me and trying to woo me to get back, what did they think that was going to cause when you wouldn't even let me in? It separated family.
Religion over relationship.
And they did it so honestly. It was, wow, okay. I left home. I'm not in your program anymore. It reminds me of if I was hired I was in the military. I had a uniform, right? The standard while I was in there, this is
Right.
what I got to wear.
Right.
Well, when I got out, I don't go around wearing the uniform anymore. And this might not match what people think, but this is how I thought. Like when I had to stay home and when I was in what you was in, I did that. What I didn't understand, they needed help. I couldn't drive their car because I had on pay. You don't want to need the groceries. I'm trying to see, do they really think or do
I don't think it was a thought.
oh, okay.
I really don't.
Because I didn't do it against you. If you thought this was wrong, God could be the
Right.
one who punished you. But it seemed like God didn't have to do anything because we did it
You
all to
did
each
it.
other.
Yeah.
So I told Daddy one day, he was very sick at this time, and his whole thing was about driving his car. But you needed help. And that day I wasn't trying to be funny. I came from work with my pants on, and I don't know if he was going to try to do it himself and couldn't even stand up, because of my pants. I told him it's okay, when he decided that he needed it bad enough, and I did it respectfully. I think that's the day he stopped. It's like, if I'm coming to your house, I will respect you just to wear it because of you. But if I'm out in the street and I stop by, I'm not
Yeah.
going through all these changes and change. And I was trying to tell him, if it's against God, why are you punishing me?
Yeah.
And then I found out later on in life that he came up that way, that it was a mixture of so much stuff. It wasn't even about religion. It's about, if you don't do what I say, I tie my hands. So I don't know what part was the God, what part was just you, what part was the tradition, because it was all thrown in there together.
But learning and finding out now, uh, it was just custom and hereditary.
So his hereditary problem, if they didn't do what their parents or somebody told them to do, you cut people off.
So it became a religion. Because if it was religion, if you even read what the Bible says, Jesus didn't act like that. The Pharisees and the Sadducees, they did, because they was of the strictest of the law, religion, law. Jesus said, I ain't come to abolish your law, fulfill it. Let me show you how to do it. They was complaining about them eating with unwashed hand. Well, if you somewhere and ain't no water, how did you expect me to wash my hands before I eat? Or if I'm hungry and it's on the Sabbath day, do I wait till it's not a Sabbath day to eat and there's food in front of me? Because they weren't supposed to pick stuff on the Sabbath day.
You wasn't supposed to iron your clothes.
No, we couldn't do none of that. None of that. That's why I say religion. Religion is. I've never hated anything, something else but that, because it just takes out of context, and you
Especially,
lose
like,
family, you lose
Yeah.
friends because of.
We did as much as we could do on Saturday, right? But if you messed up and didn't do something, you just go to church with wrinkled clothes, because that was just, you're not gonna take that iron out. And I was like, okay, I messed up, but is that deep?
Yeah.
I'm getting ready to go to hell because I took the iron out, and just, because it was, they just made it so that, well, my story. I didn't even want God no more because I thought that was God. I left home at 18 because it was just too much. It was too much, and I never saw God, and I just never saw God, and I always thought, you don't keep sinning that grace, because we got grace. But a little mistake or something that petty, because that was petty to me. If you turn that washing machine, then it was after 6 o'clock.
Yeah,
It's like, okay,
it's
it's
tradition. That's
it's
all.
yeah. So it's like, okay, so I just wait till 6 o'clock and then I could put up the clothes.
Yeah,
So it was just a lot of things, and we just talking about some things that you do, or the customs, or the religion that you have. Sometimes, are you winning souls, or you winning people, or you actually sending them farther
further
away?
away. further away.
that they still reeling from thinking that your baby is sinning. So you treat your kids, or you treat someone as if they're no good, when God say love.
Do you know, I sit often and say, if I had known back then what I know now, my family life, I thank God for restoration.
Yeah.
I thank God that He's given me a chance to turn it over. But I know nothing shall be wasted, but if I look back in my mind's eyes, I wasted a lot of years because of ignorance. And what we say is God, and it's not.
What do you do now from what you used to do that is different? How do you present relationship versus religion? How do you tell, like, even your children, how do you tell them about God versus rules and regulations and things?
Well, I don't talk rules.
You don't.
Huh?
I should have met you. I should have met you back. I should have met you back then too, because you always was giving me rules.
No, I didn't give you rules.
You told me about it.
I didn't tell you about rules.
What you told me about?
I told you about what was right.
Oh, okay.
I didn't tell
That's
you
a different-
rules.
that's a
That's a
different-
difference. I tell my children about what's right. I don't give them rules.
So give me an example of what's right versus what you do different than what your parents did to you.
Um,
Okay,
I
just
don't
let,
do-
let,
I
let,
don't-
let,
I-
me, let me let me make an example. Okay, your oldest daughter had a child. You had a niece. Your sister kid had a child out of out of wedlock. What did you do different to them that was done to you?
well, when my niece got pregnant, my sister told me to tell her because she saw what was done to me. She didn't want her to have a child. I said, I'm not telling her that. And I didn't. When my daughter got pregnant, me and her dad sat down with her and we told her we would support her because a drunk don't need to be told he's a drunk. He already know that. Give him a solution. You don't know. Well, she didn't have it. It wasn't even on the table of being married. None of that was on the table. So your family support is definitely needed. It's not about what the man can do for him. It's we got to rally around because if you don't, that's when depression could sit in, all kinds of thoughts. No, he's not going to be raised like that. He's not going to know the difference. No, I was not going to do that. It's the same way. Remember we was in Vegas and walking across that big street when I uh, was talking about my marriage. You said I will support you as long as it's no fighting. The thing of it is, you say I will support. And that's one thing people do not know how to do. And let you do it my way, and that's what religion did. And let you do it my way, there's a highway. But support meant everything. And you allowed me, it gave me the grace and the strength to turn my life around several times because of the support.
So that's how I see God. When I think about what Jesus did when he walked down here, even though he was given things, telling them things, one thing I saw who he was sitting with and who he was talking to, he already knew what they was doing.
Right.
I don't need to be told what I'm doing. And I don't need to shun you because of what you do.
Right.
Now, I'm not going to sit there just hang out with you every day. But he hung out with him enough.
Yeah.
Because if you have enough,
Right.
you have enough to give.
Right.
Right?
And that's a lot of time. He said, with loving kindness,
Have I drawn?
I have drawn thee.
Yeah.
And so when you go out your way, and bestow love on others, that's what brings people. It's the goodness of the Lord.
Right.
But if you constantly damning me and sending me to hell and acting all kinds of way because I don't act like you, that's not going to draw me to you. It'll draw me far from you.
And that's in anything.
In
That's
anything.
in any walks of your life. Kindness and love
Right.
draws.
Right.
So to play God on someone,
Right.
because that's what it means. That's
Right.
what it meant to me.
Right.
So when I told them, if this is God,
Right.
I don't want this.
Right.
Because
don't
I
have
saw
a-
people who didn't know God was acting better
Right.
than this.
Right.
So just be careful.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't even know what a person is going through to even
Right.
get in that predicament. You're talking about the sin, but what led them to even, you don't even know how that person felt
Right.
that they got into that,
Right.
fell into that state anyway. Because sometimes because of what they're not feeling, loved or whatever, sometimes fall into the wrong hands with, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You don't have to be just want to do wrong, but why am I there?
Yep.
What is it? So now the church pushed me away, or your family pushed me away. Well, somebody else is welcoming. That's how people join gangs and stuff.
Right.
Because I heard several guys say they treated me like family.
Right.
They welcomed me in, even though I didn't want to be doing this, but the love that they showed. So you start walking down the wrong path because who should have been showing you
Right.
was
Right.
missing.
Right.
So it's a lot of reasons and there's a lot of things that we need to consider when it comes to family
Yep.
versus religion.
Do you know who taught me and showed me what pure love was?
No.
The one who we stole the car from.
So sometimes it takes the person who you call it no good or sinner or whatever else you want to say,
That's
be the
right.
one that show you what love is really about.
That's who showed me, my husband, the one who showed me what love is about and what forgiveness is about. I'm appreciative today. Because if it had not, who I thought wasn't it, who I thought wasn't acting like God, but God is love.
Yeah.
And he showed me
Love.
love. He showed me forgiveness. If he could do that, knowing the things that he been through, and forgive the people that done it to him, who am I? I'm not just talking about calling you a name or something. I'm talking about as far as being shot and still got the bullets in him,
Mhm.
but he forgave. He still loved. And every time he could have PTSD, he could react to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
He could have outbursts in the night, but he doesn't. And I praise God for it.
So as someone who been through so much, that's what you call a relationship with God or a relationship to know the difference. Because I'm just talking about how I came up. Forgiveness wasn't even on the table.
Right, right,
Like, really?
right,
Like, you didn't have to worry about getting shot. You just said
Right.
some words that was out the way
right,
and they'll hold it or
Right.
whatever it was. But you was worried about the outside appearance of everything, but the heart.
the heart, the heart.
So religion is not about a heart thing. That's a relationship. Because if you have a relationship with God,
Yes.
then you could you could forgive the hard thing.
Right.
But sometimes, well, I can't forgive. I don't care what they did. Well,
Yep.
check your heart.
And some
Check-
people say, I forgive or I won't
I won't
forget.
forget it.
That's not true either, because God says,
Mhm.
I cast your sins into the sea of forgetfulness to be remembered no more. So what you think you ain't forgetting, what you think you ain't forgiving, you can rest assured yours ain't being forgotten either.
Yeah, but it's going to take you to have a relationship
A
with God
relationship.
to do that.
Hmm.
You know, because a lot of people is not there. It's sometimes we try to do things without the spirit of God.
Can't.
So
Can't.
that's when you know when you have, what's the word I have? Agape.
Agape love.
Yeah. We just, we fling around that word. Yeah, I love the Lord. I love God. No, you need to have a relationship
Right.
where it can be the hard things.
Right.
He didn't tell you that it was going to be easy.
Right.
But every time I see you, it stirs up.
Right.
Oh, I feel like, no,
Right.
you have, like you said, you sitting there looking at, and I'm pretty sure the pains at night of things that you got to go through every time it rains or move, and you can still say, "How you doing? Come on over and eat."
Mhm.
That's a relationship with God. So check your heart.
Yeah.
We're not sitting here saying that things is easy, because we went through a lot
Right.
that
Right.
it only took God sometimes, because there are some things that I had to share with people, or with my sister, things she went. If it wasn't for God,
Yeah.
we could hold things, because
Right.
it was enough to be done.
Right.
There was enough done to be angry about, to be mad. But you can forgive.
Yeah. And he
And
promised.
you won't look at me every time you see me, and remember that.
Right. Right.
I remember we got so many stories, but I remember this story when you first got back. Even if I said that in Vegas, uh, I remember when you got back together after we done stole the car and did all that stuff. But you remember what God told you to give him keys to your next car
In my next house.
in your house? Like y'all hear us talk, but you had to know the process of this, or what happened for forgiveness to be on the table. When you turn your life over to God, it's a whole different
Right.
dynamic of
Right.
what you feel, what you went through. There's some people, it's just like what Jesus went through. They nailed his hands, and,
Right.
and he said, forgive them, because they don't even
Right.
know what they do. Like, you sit there and think about that.
Right.
Like, you sitting there drilling nails in my hand. I can't even fathom that. But what I
It
did
pierced
with,
me in my side.
yeah, but what I did witness,
Yeah.
that we chasing around trying to get something that was yours
Right.
in the beginning. Now the reverse, say just hand it. So love has to.
Hell, what?
I said, what I said to you? I said, you sure? You sure you heard the right stuff? Like, I wasn't doubting what she said, but I was like, I just wanted to make sure that this is what you're gonna do, because the past can make you think like, oh no, we ain't doing this again.
A lot of people, I'm talking about religious and leaders, have told me I, it's just religion, because people base things on what they see, and they'll tell you, God didn't tell you get back with him. God didn't tell you, because
But I
they
don't
know.
think it had to be religious. It's just knowing what, because there's some people who's not religious, and if you would tell your whole testimony, like, okay, all right, yeah,
But
you
why I'm
just let it.
saying that, because he said love your enemies.
But that's
I,
easy to say
I
when you
no,
don't have no enemies. Like, there's some people there, you just did this a little bit. This not wasn't just a little bit.
I'm talking about relationship. That's the difference between relationship and
And
religion,
religion, right?
because relationship
Eye
makes
for,
you go
yeah, uh,
an extra
yeah,
mile, go
right,
beyond.
yeah, go beyond. Because religion say eye for eye, tooth for tooth. But he said, I come to say
But
that.
I say,
But I say, so you have to really be in God, because some of the stuff that went on, you know, it, it's just in God. Even to see your children today relating with their dad. I'm just telling you ladies or men that sometimes you think it's impossible.
yeah,
It's not impossible when you make up your mind and you ask God to really give your heart to forgive
Yeah.
and you desire to make it work, it can.
Yeah.
I've seen it with my own eyes because if we all would sit down as a family and just say some things that went on, you wouldn't believe that these people are taking vacation together. These people are sitting down to dinner together. There is nothing that they, I mean, you wouldn't know for an average person is to walk up on your family, they wouldn't know. So this is what,
Well, wait
while
a
we're
minute.
discussing,
People don't know, but even they don't know.
yeah, your
Like,
kids, your
yeah,
children don't know.
so
You hear a lot of, you
in
hear a
this
lot of
next
stuff.
season,
Yeah.
I'm going to be able to.
You don't have to worry about your next season. My next season, say, tell them. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell them. No, I'm just joking. Sometimes you hide so much to try to cushion
Yeah.
that you don't really realize that some things need to be said
Yeah.
because it'll help them.
Right. Right.
Because you don't even know what others are going through
Right.
and going through the
Right.
same thing because
Or
they don't
thinking.
they too embarrassed to say it. They
Right.
don't know we don't walk the same road.
Right.
So everything is not an embarrassment. I'm not saying you're gonna walk around proudly say this is what happened.
No.
But sometimes I've learned faces of people. You can tell they're going through.
Yeah.
You can see, and you're sitting there holding your
Right.
testimony,
Right.
and
Tell it.
somebody is it. So you don't have to broadcast it on Broad Street, but sometimes we have intimate little sessions
Some
where we
things you
sit
need to say.
and you can come and say now because you have to wait to the right timing.
Right.
Sometimes things is timing.
Right.
And I'm going to be talking later on with your youngest daughter of some things
And did she
that,
say anything out of way?
but it was because I want to say to um, people who are helping,
Yeah.
you got to make sure you're in the right place too, that you don't spew venom.
Right. Right.
God bless me with that, but some people they can turn people away
Right.
and off that you make the situation worse. Like even what you went through, there was nothing I had to say about it. The only thing I do is just nurture and do the best while I had them in my hands. So sometimes you don't always have to edge people on because if I was you, I wouldn't be saying. You know how people just and you make the situation worse. Sometimes future, people get more mad at you because you did that. You probably think I'm down. I'm in your corner. He ain't no good, or that wasn't right. Whatever that is, but you don't even realize you made the situation worse and caused that person to have a harder time to forgive because the situation was already bad.
Right.
So you don't have to push it. So I learned a lot through to talk about what to do and what not to do.
Right.
But you had to be mature enough to understand. Don't damage a person further.
So I have an upcoming book, and I did announcements. And one of the things I said in my announcement, I acknowledge my children because I said they were born in and through my metamorphosis. So all the changes that I was going through, they were affected by.
Yeah.
So I appreciated them for hanging in there. And now I see the other side.
Right.
But I couldn't tell them because I didn't understand myself.
Right. And then and coming back in hindsight now, that's what makes it more important now to have the conversations
Right.
because somebody was affected.
Right.
Somebody was let down. Somebody,
Right.
like you said, you're going through yourself, but
But
sometimes you're probably going through yourself, mothers, fathers, uncles, aunts. But if you get a chance to come back, tell the story because even to tell the story later, it can fix.
So I want to know from you, like, even to tell a story now, how do you think it would affect if the truth is told?
Each person is different. Some people need the raw truth because somebody was blamed for something and not know. Like I told my sister, I was fighting for her because she was my sister, to realize later on you was wrong and some of the stuff that you did. So you don't know, just saying that I was wrong, it helped me to forgive. So it's it's a rocky road to go back and try to explain some, everything don't have to be explained, but there is some things that your children deliverance is in your truth.
Okay.
It makes sense?
Yeah.
It'd be more easier to set my mom or my dad, because I know you was vulnerable too at that stage. It didn't just look like you just deserted or you just did something or my father was this, and no, we was kids.
Yeah.
We ain't talking about adults now. We was talking about 15, 16, 17 years old. Okay, that was children. And you did childish and
Right.
things.
Right.
And then you have to talk about, which we had a show on this, where talk about what's in your DNA.
Right.
Because you can have a good person
Right.
that may just on alcohol.
Right.
Or you can have a good person with us. It's just too religious.
Right.
This just as damaging.
Right.
You know? Because we hurt people with religion.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's the
So
conversation.
that's a topic that I want to talk about, because I hurt him
right.
with religion,
Religion.
too religious.
Just and
Yeah.
you're still religious.
No, I'm not.
I'm just joking. She loved the Lord. She loved the Lord, and Gail gonna be, But yeah, so clearing up those things,
Yeah.
straighten it up, because it wasn't no one sided.
It wasn't.
This
It
one was
wasn't.
wrong.
It wasn't.
But when you going through, there's always a blame
Right,
game, and
right.
somebody else was
and gathering people to be on your side.
Yeah.
And they
But
like
I
you said,
left your side. I left your side. No, you have to be, I don't say grown enough, or it's mature enough to know, right, even if it's your girlfriend,
Yeah.
this your best buddy. If she's wrong, she's wrong.
She's wrong.
If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And we should remain friends, even if I tell you the truth.
Right. Right.
Because somebody healing and deliverance is behind the truth, not because we sisters.
Right. Right.
When I think of telling the truth, I'm thinking of deliverance for your family.
Right.
Or for somebody who misunderstood, and you got people who are mad at somebody and it wasn't even their fault.
Right.
Anybody who have an addiction or is an addict, I'm gonna be mad at them. If you know the disease,
you have to know about the disease.
You have to know that anybody did nothing on purpose, and some people did they have different reactions, how it plays on you. I can drink a little bit and be okay.
You can?
Yeah.
That's what made you get on that table?
I'm making an illustration. There are some people who drink a little bit in their mouth. I drank a little bit. I was on top of the table dancing the whole night. It was just it wasn't even a lot. It was this much, because my tolerance. I don't drink, so the little bit that I took, it sent me into. I got brave. They was embarrassed. They let me drive. They left me at the place. Okay, but anyway, we're gonna have further conversation with this. But
wine and spirits.
Wine and spirit. That's what it was too. Wine and spirit. But religion versus family.
Yeah.
Let's get a relationship with God, that our religion and these customs and our family history and things, heredity problems don't come over, that we bring that into saying this is God.
Right.
But we messed up people.
Yeah. Bridge the gap.
Bridge the gap. And just know that God is grace and mercy. And it's not to continue in sin. It's not to continue doing wrong. But give people grace.
I understand now why he says restorers of generations, and repairers of the breach.
Right.
Because so many, not only in our time, but above us, below us, religion mess people up. the relationships between family. And then you can't want to damn me if you haven't showed me love or anything before that.
And what I want to part with, don't be too stubborn or have too much pride to say, I'm sorry.
Yes,
I messed up.
yes,
You know, I just think about our mother. Before she would say she's sorry, she was going to prove how she was right.
yeah.
It was,
And she
But-
didn't see this, and she didn't.
it's
Well,
like-
it could have.
but
It could have
was-
been
that was part about the heredity part of she didn't want to feel like she did nothing wrong.
right.
But you did. And it'd been okay to say, I'm wrong, but I'm sorry. But well, I did the best I can. You know, she was
Yeah.
always instead of saying,
Well, you didn't see that big fight in the back of the church.
and I had my eyes closed and I was just praising. Well, that's what messed me up in church because we was back there fighting. You was up there praising the Lord with your eyes closed and you didn't see your children. So parents, teachers, leaders, those who's in authority over people, sometimes just be okay to say that I wasn't right about everything. I missed that point.
I wasn't ready.
I wasn't ready. I can do better. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
And just move on. But you denying everything when somebody tell you they hurting or this happened to them and you act like it didn't happen. Yeah. But
yes, I could.
you have any parting words before we get out of here, sis? Well, as we always say,
Love God,
love family,
work hard, and be kind.
And I just want to share. I hope you can see my page if I can bring it up. My sister here, the judge, has written a book and a workbook. Her launch is going to be October the 18th. You had to RSVP for the information to 267-596-9743. Once again, our co-host here has messed around and took on another hat. Her next hat is she's an author. And she's launching her book. I'm trying to bring it up on the screen here so you can see what she's doing now. But anyway, we'll keep on passing on the word. But anyway, you have to RSVP to the seating is limited. But this is it's a proud moment. We're very proud of you, Sister Gail. Sister Gail. And her husband and her children, they're very proud of her. Because I think most of it's about them. She telling them off in the book. No, I'm just joking with. But anyway, you'll hear more about more upcoming conferences that we're going to have and workshops that we're going to have that she can take us through her book. And we're just giving God the praise for after 10 years,
10 years.
it's finally here. So we're going to leave you on that note that no matter
No matter what it looks like, the devil try to frustrate me. I'm holding on to his promises, but this was meant to be. Here
Peace.